Revolutionary times are upon us, and the most powerful revolution is the personal revolution. And for that, you need a lot of strength. I'd like to help you with that through my astrological consultations, which start as low as $40 for a consultation. You can find more about that here. So, have you ever lived somewhere and you move in and you have like this nice new paint job that's on the wall, and you live there for a few weeks and you start seeing, maybe some mold coming through the wall, or maybe a stain that's coming through the wall. And of course, you recognize, that was there already, and whoever owns this place just kind of painted over it, hoping that it wouldn't be obvious, right? But it is. It is pretty obvious, right? And you can't hide from it. Similar thing with, like wallpapering. You can try to wallpaper over a crack, but eventually that crack is going to kind of show through the wallpaper if you have not, at the very least, plastered it, right? And so then it becomes obvious that there's a problem. And when those problems become blatantly obvious, you can't just paper over them, slap a new paint job on it, put a Band-Aid. If you're in the States, that's what you call them, Band-Aids. In the UK, they're called sticking plasters. You can't just slap something on it and pretend that there's not a problem that's there. You can't just like let a wound exist without completely healing it. And so you're likely finding yourself in one area of life or another, or maybe even in several areas, where you're beginning to recognize that there's a complete restructuring that is becoming absolutely necessary. And there's no way to hide from it. There's no way to ignore it. You just have to kind of jump right in and deal with it. And I know this can sound a little bit disconcerting. The best way to deal with astrology is to not use astrology to try to control your life, right? Astrology is great because when we know what's coming to the surface, we can understand more about it and we know how to respond, and we're able to respond in a calmer manner. So nothing that I say here is meant to be disconcerting or uneasy for you. It's meant to kind of make you aware that something needs to change, and you're going to need to bring radical attention to that within the next several days between now and the 17th of June, right? You may try to hold on to the old ways as a point of pride, but that's only ignoring the obvious. You may have something or even someone that you need to safeguard or protect, but you're going to have to find a radical new way of confronting the problem. You're going to need to try to process your way through the situation and let go of the things that are no longer working and begin to try to embrace some of the things that seem like they're offering you a new and nourishing opportunity. You see, we've got Mars in Magha nakshatra, and I'm going to explain these nakshatras to you here in just a moment. For those of you who are not aware of nakshatras in terms of Vedic astrology, or maybe you're new to Vedic astrology completely, we have Uranus in Krittika nakshatra. And these two planets are forming really tense energy with each other. They're forming a really intense alignment, I should say. I got all tongue twisted there. So Magha deals with things of pride. It equally deals with trying to protect our vulnerabilities, trying to cover things up sometimes because it feels necessary, right? I mean, like if you've ever had a car where it's an old car and you're trying to keep that car together until you can at the very least buy a new car, and well, the car kind of has a mind of its own and decides that it's going to do things that it needs to do because that's just the way things are. That's kind of a good way of understanding Maga's vulnerability. We try to safeguard it. We try to cover it up. We try to, keep things safe in a way that doesn't really keep things safe. because we're trying to protect a vulnerability when perhaps allowing our sensitivity to try to tune in a little bit more to the situation would be much wiser. And we have Uranus over in Kritika Nakshatra. Kritika Nakshatra is connected with Agni, the fire god. So Agni deals with things from purification, burning away that which is no longer working, right? It equally deals this energy with the truth. So the truth coming to the surface, or maybe several different layers of the truth. We have one layer of what we think is truth that comes to the surface, and then we find out that that wasn't really it, and there's something beneath that, and things just continue to kind of keep burning away at that. Remember those cracks coming up through the wallpaper? That's a good example. Remember the mold coming through the paint? That's a good example. You know, it's like, okay, well, there's something beneath this that I'm not really seeing. But Kritika also deals with nourishment, and Magha, to a certain extent, does as well. So there is an element of feeling that you need to protect something, or maybe even someone, or that you need to nourish a situation to the best of your capacity. And you're trying to perhaps hold on to old ways of doing that when you're being asked to usher in a revolutionary new way of doing that, but you're perhaps maybe just a bit afraid of doing so. So if you're looking at things on the global scale, you'll probably see things over the course of the next several days. We're already witnessing it to a certain extent of things coming to the surface over cultural pride, nationalistic pride, etc. People being unhappy about the status quo and the way things have been, people wanting to usher in new changes. It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on. This is astrology, pure and true, that's showing what's coming to the surface so that people are aware as to why these things are happening in the first place. So, what is it about for you personally? Well, that's going to be different for every single person, dependent upon where these alignments are affecting your personal birth chart. Again, as I mentioned, you can schedule in an astrological consultation with me if you want to know a little bit more about this. And I have consultations starting at $40 that you can schedule just above. But whatever the case may be, this is something you need to try to embrace wholeheartedly. But at the same time, it's something that maybe is making you feel a little bit uneasy. A new way forward has to be found. A new way of structuring your situation has to be established. There's no point in trying to hide from it. There's no point in trying to hold on to things out of pride. Change is on its way. It has to happen. It needs to happen. It's positive that it happens. So let it happen. That's going to do it for this look at Mars's aspect to Uranus, with Mars in Magha and Uranus in Kritika Nakshatra most intensively impactful between now and the 17th of June 2025. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.